Lastly, purpose creates a ripple effect. As you live out your calling, you inspire others to do the same. This often results in a community of like-minded individuals who are all working toward their God-given assignments. These relationships are not about competition or comparison, but about collaboration and collective impact. They remind you that you are not alone in your journey and that God has strategically placed the right people around you to fulfill His plan. Friendships are one of the most significant influences in shaping our journey through life. They hold the power to propel us toward our destiny or to pull us away from it. This is why it is essential to understand that not every friendship is meant to last forever, and not every friend is destined to journey with you to the fulfillment of your purpose. True friendship should reflect your destiny, aligning with the vision and purpose God has placed on your life. When you understand your destiny, it becomes a lens through which you evaluate the relationships in your life. Your destiny is a divine assignment, and those closest to you should support, encourage, and even challenge you to stay on the path God has set before you. They should not be distractions or detours. Instead, they should be companions who remind you of your purpose when you feel uncertain or weary. A friendship that reflects your destiny will bring out the best in you, encouraging you to grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Consider the example of Jonathan and David in the Bible. Jonathan recognized God's calling on David's life to become king, even though it meant David would take a position that could have been Jonathan's by inheritance. Instead of letting jealousy or personal ambition get in the way, Jonathan chose to align himself with David's destiny. He encouraged David, protected him from harm, and played a crucial role in ensuring that David could fulfill God's plan for his life. This is the kind of friendship that reflects destiny, a connection grounded in selflessness, loyalty, and alignment with God's purpose. On the other hand, friendships that do not reflect your destiny can become weights that hold you back. These are relationships where your values and goals clash, or where the other person pulls you away from your purpose rather than supporting it. Sometimes this misalignment isn't obvious at first. It can manifest subtly through distractions, negativity, or even well-meaning advice that leads you astray. This is why discernment is so critical. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay, and not everyone who calls themselves a friend is equipped to walk with you into your future. Friendships that reflect destiny often require intentionality. These relationships are not built on convenience or proximity, but on shared values and a mutual commitment to growth. They are marked by accountability, where both individuals are willing to challenge each other to stay true to their calling. These friendships may not always be easy, but they are always worth it because they push you closer to the person God created you to be. It's also important to remember that friendships reflecting destiny are not one-sided. Just as you need friends who encourage and support you, you are also called to be that kind of friend to others. Ask yourself, do my actions, words, and attitudes reflect the kind of friend I want to attract? Am I someone who helps others stay focused on their God-given purpose, or do I become a distraction in their lives? True friendships are reciprocal, where both individuals are committed to helping each other grow. Friendships that reflect destiny are not based on superficial factors like status, wealth, or popularity. They are grounded in something much deeper, a shared understanding of God's plan and a commitment to walking that journey together. These friendships are not about competing with one another, but about collaborating to fulfill God's purpose for each life. When you surround yourself with friends who reflect your destiny, you create an environment of growth, encouragement, and purpose that helps you stay focused on the path ahead. Lastly, friendships that reflect destiny often require seasons of pruning. There will be times when God calls you to release relationships that no longer align with where He is taking you. This can be painful, but it is necessary for your growth. God will never ask you to let go of something without providing something better in its place. Trust that He is aligning your relationships to reflect the destiny He has designed specifically for you. In the journey of life, friendships play an essential role, offering companionship, encouragement, and support. However, even the closest human relationships have limitations. People may misunderstand you, fail you, or leave when you need them most. But there is one friend who remains steadfast through every season, challenge, and triumph: God. He is your ultimate friend, a source of unwavering love, comfort, and guidance. God's friendship is unlike any human relationship because it is perfect and unconditional. He knows you completely, your strengths, weaknesses, hopes, fears, and even your mistakes, and He loves you fully despite it all. While others may base their loyalty on your performance or what you can offer, God's love is not transactional. He doesn't require perfection, He desires relationship. His friendship is built on grace, mercy, and a deep, abiding commitment to your well-being and destiny. One of the most comforting aspects of God's friendship is His consistency. Human relationships often fluctuate with circumstances, emotions, and misunderstandings. Yet God declares, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." This means that even in your loneliest moments, when you feel abandoned or forgotten by others, He is present. His friendship doesn't waver when life becomes challenging. In fact, He draws closer in times of difficulty, offering His peace and strength to carry you through. God's friendship also brings an unparalleled sense of understanding. He doesn't just hear your words, He knows the depths of your heart. When you are unable to articulate your feelings, He understands the groans of your spirit. When you feel misunderstood by others, God provides the reassurance that you are seen, heard, and valued. Psalm 139 beautifully captures this truth. "You have searched me, Lord, and you know me." This level of intimacy is something no human friendship can ever fully provide. As your ultimate friend, God offers guidance that is always perfect and timely. While people may give advice based on their limited perspective, God's wisdom is infinite and tailored specifically to your situation. He sees the end from the beginning, ensuring that His direction aligns with His purpose for your life. Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us to trust in the Lord with all our heart and lean not on our own understanding, because His path is always the best one. God's friendship is also characterized by faithfulness. He doesn't abandon you when you stumble or make mistakes. Instead, He patiently walks with you, teaching you, correcting you, and restoring you. This faithfulness is seen throughout Scripture, from His commitment to the Israelites despite their repeated failures to His promise of redemption through Jesus Christ. God's faithfulness assures you that even when you feel unworthy, His love remains constant and His hand is always extended to lift you up. Another unique aspect of God's friendship is His investment in your growth. A true friend desires the best for you, and God is no different. He works all things together for your good, even when you don't understand His methods. Sometimes His friendship involves discipline or allowing you to walk through trials, not to harm you, but to refine you and draw you closer to Him. He is more concerned with your character than your comfort, knowing that the challenges you face will ultimately strengthen your faith and deepen your relationship with Him. God also offers a level of companionship that is unmatched. While people may only be present physically, God's Spirit dwells within you, ensuring that you are never alone. He walks with you in every moment, whether you're facing the mundane routines of life or the most significant challenges. This constant presence means that you can rely on Him for strength, wisdom, and encouragement no matter what life throws your way. God's friendship goes beyond meeting your emotional needs. It also empowers you to be a better friend to others. When you experience His unconditional love, patience, and kindness, you are inspired to reflect those qualities in your relationships. His friendship becomes a model for how you treat others, enabling you to extend grace, forgiveness, and understanding even in difficult situations. Finally, God's friendship is eternal. While human relationships are bound by time and circumstances, His love transcends all limitations. From the moment you enter into a relationship with Him, you are assured of His presence, not just in this life, but for all eternity. This eternal friendship is a source of hope and security, reminding you that no matter what happens, you are never truly alone. In a world where value is often measured by connections, networks, and social circles, it's easy to believe that isolation diminishes your worth. Society has conditioned us to think that our value is somehow tied to how many people we know or how many friends we have. But this is a false narrative. Isolation doesn't define worth, because your worth is not dependent on external validation. It is rooted in the inherent purpose and identity God has given you. Let me make this clear. Your value is not a product of your relationships with others. It is a product of your relationship with the one who created you. Before you were even born, God placed within you everything you need to fulfill your purpose. He made you fearfully and wonderfully, not for the approval of man, but for his divine plan. Whether you are surrounded by multitudes or walking alone, your worth remains constant because it is anchored in something far greater than human connections. Too often, isolation is perceived as a weakness, as if being alone is a sign of rejection or failure. But consider this, some of the most impactful individuals in history experienced seasons of profound isolation. Look at Joseph, sold into slavery and later thrown into prison. He was separated from his family, stripped of his position, and left to navigate a foreign land alone. Yet, it was during this time of isolation that God was preparing him for a position of influence that would save nations. Joseph's isolation didn't diminish his worth, it revealed it. Isolation can often serve as a divine pause in your life. It is a season where God pulls you away from distractions and external noise to help you rediscover who you are in Him. This is not a punishment, but an opportunity. When you are alone, you are forced to confront your fears, insecurities, and doubts. You begin to see yourself not through the lens of others' opinions, but through the truth of God's Word. It is in these moments that you realize your worth has never been tied to your surroundings, it has always been rooted in your Creator. The danger of defining your worth by your social connections is that it makes you vulnerable to compromise. If you believe you need others to validate your value, you may start changing yourself to fit in, diluting your purpose to gain acceptance. But when you understand that your worth is intrinsic, you no longer feel the need to chase after people or seek their approval. You can stand confidently in your identity, knowing that whether others walk with you or not, you are complete in Christ. Even Jesus, the greatest example of purpose and identity, experienced isolation. He often withdrew from the crowds to pray, and in his most pivotal moments like the Garden of Gethsemane, he was alone. Yet his isolation didn't lessen his value or his mission. Instead, it prepared him to fulfill his ultimate purpose. This is a reminder that your worth isn't diminished in seasons of solitude, it's refined. Isolation strips away the superficial and forces you to focus on what truly matters. It's a space where you can grow, reflect, and strengthen your relationship with God. While the world may see isolation as a deficiency, God sees it as an opportunity to pour into you, to mold you, and to equip you for the journey ahead. Your worth is not dictated by who is around you, it is determined by who is within you. In life, we often encounter moments where it feels as if we've been set apart, isolated from the people, places, and opportunities we once leaned on. These seasons of solitude can feel confusing and even painful, but they are not random or meaningless. Seasons of solitude are intentional, they are divinely orchestrated by God to accomplish a purpose far greater than we often realize in the moment. Solitude is not about abandonment, it is about alignment. When God allows you to walk through a season of isolation, it's often because He is preparing you for something greater. He is pulling you away from the noise, distractions, and influences that might distort your vision or compromise your purpose. In solitude, God clears the clutter in your life and creates space for you to hear His voice with clarity. Consider the story of Moses. After fleeing Egypt, Moses found himself in the wilderness, far removed from the position and power he once held in Pharaoh's palace. For 40 years he lived in solitude, tending sheep in a land that seemed insignificant compared to the grandeur of Egypt. But that season of solitude was not wasted. It was there in the wilderness that God prepared Moses for his ultimate assignment to lead his people out of slavery and into freedom. Without those years of solitude, Moses might not have been ready to stand before Pharaoh or endure the challenges of leading a nation. Seasons of solitude are also seasons of transformation. During these times, God works on your heart, your character, and your mindset. He uses the stillness to refine you, to break down old habits and build up new ones. This solitude allows God to strip away the parts of you that are not aligned with His purpose and replace them with strength, wisdom, and resilience. It is a process of molding and shaping, much like a potter working with clay. The clay must first be separated from the crowd, placed on the wheel, and worked on by the potter's hands to become a vessel fit for its intended use. In solitude, God also reveals Himself in deeper ways. When you are surrounded by people and constant activity, it can be challenging to truly focus on Him. Solitude removes the external voices and allows you to tune into His voice. It is often in these quiet moments that you experience the most profound revelations of His love, faithfulness, and power. Elijah experienced this on Mount Horeb, where he encountered God not in the wind, earthquake, or fire, but in the still small voice. Furthermore, solitude is a time of preparation. Before David became king, he spent years in the wilderness tending sheep, fighting lions and bears, and developing the skills and faith he would later need to lead a nation. Before Jesus began his public ministry, he spent 40 days in the wilderness fasting and being tested. These moments of solitude were not delays, they were necessary steps in the process of fulfilling their purpose. Seasons of solitude often feel uncomfortable because they challenge our dependence on others and force us to rely fully on God. They strip away the familiar and require us to trust that even when we cannot see the full picture, God is at work. It's important to understand that these seasons are not permanent, they are part of a larger plan. Solitude is the training ground where God equips you for the journey ahead, ensuring that when the next season arrives, you are ready to step into it with confidence and clarity. In life, relationships play a critical role in shaping who we are and the direction we take. Yet not all relationships are beneficial, and not everyone is meant to journey with us. One of the most profound truths is this: when you focus on living in alignment with your God-given purpose, the right relationships will naturally be drawn to you. Purpose acts as a filter, ensuring that only those who align with your vision and values become part of your journey. When you discover your purpose, it becomes a guiding force in your life. It clarifies your priorities, shapes your decisions, and gives you a sense of direction. With this clarity, you no longer feel the need to chase after people or force connections. Instead, your purpose creates a magnetic pull, attracting individuals who share your values, support your goals, and encourage your growth. These are the relationships that will propel you forward, not hold you back. Think of Ruth and Boaz in the Bible. Ruth's purpose was tied to her loyalty and her commitment to follow Naomi and Naomi's God. She didn't go looking for Boaz or manipulate circumstances to find a relationship. As she faithfully pursued her purpose, Boaz noticed her character and integrity, and their paths naturally aligned. Purpose does not require striving, it creates divine opportunities for the right connections to be made. Living in alignment with your purpose also provides discernment about the people in your life. It helps you recognize who is truly there to support your journey and who may be a distraction. Not everyone who comes into your life is meant to stay. Some people are seasonal, they enter your life for a specific reason or period, but are not meant to walk with you indefinitely. When you are rooted in purpose, you can release relationships that no longer align with your vision without guilt or hesitation. At the same time, purpose protects you from toxic relationships. When you know where you're going and what God has called you to do, you are less likely to tolerate connections that drain your energy, compromise your values, or pull you off track. Your purpose gives you the confidence to set boundaries and the wisdom to prioritize relationships that are mutually beneficial and spiritually uplifting. One of the most beautiful aspects of purpose-driven relationships is that they are often marked by divine timing. The right people often appear in your life when you need them most, not necessarily when you are looking for them. God orchestrates these connections in ways that are beyond human understanding, ensuring that they happen at the exact moment they are meant to. This is why it is so important to focus on your purpose rather than worrying about finding the right people. The purpose also enhances the quality of your relationships. When you are living authentically, fully embracing who God created you to be, you attract others who are doing the same. These connections are built on mutual respect, shared vision, and a deep understanding of each other's calling. They inspire you, challenge you, and push you to grow in ways you never thought possible.